The United States and Israel launched the first of numerous strikes in Iran early Saturday morning. President Donald Trump then quickly took to social media, imploring the Iranian people to, quote, take back your country.
I'm horrified. There's no grounds for it. It's totally unclear why Trump is undertaking something so catastrophic.
I don't think any country should be invaded without provocation. Let people live in peace. We don't need to interfere in other people's affairs, just like if Iran bombed the US, that would be the end of Iran. So, you know, America's acting like a bully.
The U.S. last struck Iran in June of last year when massive bombs were dropped on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The foreign minister of Oman, who was helping broker talks between the U.S. and Iran over Iran's nuclear program, says he is, quote, dismayed by today's attacks and said, quote, I pray for the innocents who will suffer. I urge the United States not to get sucked in further. This is not your war.
It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal.
An Israeli-American law professor at the University of Utah has words of caution now over the strikes.
His work focuses on terrorism, human rights, and national security. Our Christian Sita joins us live with more. Christian.
Mika, Brian, I spoke with that law professor today, and he tells me what could happen next. Now, Amos Yorma says while Israel and the U.S. may see this as a strategic win, removing a leader does not guarantee stability. He says Iran has missiles and the ability to target U.S. interests in the Middle East, but lacks strong defensive systems to stop attacks like this one. The bigger question now, he says, is how Iran chooses to respond.
I don't really know what their capabilities are moving forward beyond, other than in the Middle East attacking American targets. Clearly, from an American perspective, targeting American targets is an important issue, and one obviously needs to be attentive to that. And obviously, people like in Utah, for instance, have loved ones who are served in the military and who are potentially in harm's way. That absolutely demands attention.
Now, he says Americans should be watching closely for any threats to troopers overseas and just watching how things play out. Reporting live, Christian Sita, KUTV 2 News.
The confirmation of the death of the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, came early Sunday morning, with President Trump once again taking to social media, saying that the pinpoint bombing will continue until peace in the Middle East is achieved.
Israeli Defense Forces releasing this video. They say it shows a headquarters leveled by multiple missiles. The IDF says the location had served as a command center for terrorists on the ground.
And a live look at the White House right now, where President Trump warns more casualties may be coming. New developments. Oil prices rose sharply after the strikes.
New Iranian leaders are in place, according to the country's foreign minister, and President Trump signals he's open to dialogue with them.
Names are not released of the 3 U.S. service members killed in a retaliatory strike by Iran.
But the Washington Post reports they were Army soldiers deployed to Kuwait. U.S. Central Command has not confirmed when or where the soldiers died.
And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case.
It's very, very difficult to explain.
Fadad Oladali, with a group called Iranians of Utah, says he's struggling to put his emotions into words.
At the same time, part of our heart is very happy. The country is under the bomb. We worry for people in Iran.
He calls the death of Iran's supreme leader a major step, but not the end.
But as I said, even if it is true, the job is not done. Ali Khamenei was just a person. The administration is still over there.
While he acknowledges the dangers of military action,
nobody like the country be bombing.
He believes outside involvement was necessary.
The foreign support was needed for this regime change in Iran.
Ultimately, he says he hopes this moment leads to change.
We hope this end up with a regime change and free election and result in a Democrat government in Iran.
Back here in Utah and across the country, police departments are pledging to prevent any violence in response to the strikes, and the Utah Department of Public Safety says that they are keeping a very close eye on any signs of trouble.
As tensions rise overseas, Utah law enforcement says coordination is key. Chief Tanner Jensen with the Utah Department of Public Safety says communication with federal partners is constant.
Over the last couple of decades, law enforcement throughout the nation has taken a pretty proactive approach on making sure we have good coordination with our federal partners for times like this, where there is an incident that occurs.
While cities like New York and D.C. report increased patrols, Jensen says Utah has no active safety concerns at this time.
As of right now, we don't have any safety concerns, but we are prepared to act accordingly if there is a threat that's identified in the state.
He says DPS is also working with local agencies and faith leaders to ensure communities feel secure.
We want to create a space where individuals, regardless of their beliefs or ideologies, have the opportunity to feel safe in our state.
And if conditions change, the response will too.
If you see something, say something. Please reach out to your law enforcement partners if there is something identified that's concerning.
The Pentagon held a news conference for the first time since this attack earlier this morning, answering for the 4 Americans who died, the 3 jets that were down in friendly fire, and fears over this conflict that may only escalate.
Crews sifted through the rubble of a police station in Tehran Monday, as the U.S. and Israel continue to pound Iran with missiles.
This was our last best chance to strike.
In his first live comments since the military operation against Iran began, President Trump said the U.S. will take as long as needed to remove the threat of Iran's ballistic missiles and its nuclear program.
We projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that.
Iran and its allies struck back immediately. Smoke could be seen rising from the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, and several locations inside Israel were also hit. At a Pentagon briefing on Monday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the first U.S. casualties.
It happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs said there may be more casualties.
We will work to minimize U.S. losses, but as the Secretary said, this is major combat operations.
The Pentagon also confirmed that Kuwait shot down 3 U.S. F-15 jets in what they're calling a friendly fire incident. All 6 crew members survived. President Trump's GOP allies here on Capitol Hill have praised the U.S. military strikes on Iran, while some Democrats have blasted the administration for not consulting Congress first.
There needs to be a plan, and we need to know what the objectives are, and we need to know what the long-term exit strategy is.
The House and Senate are scheduled to get an all-members briefing tomorrow.
2 News is closely monitoring Congress for any vote they may take that could limit President Donald Trump's military action in Iran. For any and all updates here on YouTube, please subscribe, and we will keep you up to date. For 2 News, I'm Jim Spiewak.